I think there's a wild man in everybody. I'm a split personality. Ozzy Osbourne and John Osbourne is two different people. John Osbourne is talking to you now. But if you want to be honest...
Oh, wow. Look at that.
He's like, takes over.
As a kid, I was afraid of everything. And so you just crawl into your fear hole, you know, and you're an easy prey for the bully. And so when you do find a bit of booze or dope or whatever, you go, I found it. And then I could never get there again. Alcohol and dope, and being the class clown anyway, it sort of sums it all up, you know.
I used the talent of making people feel somewhat entertained when I was making Goofing Around. To take it on stage with my music, I suppose it's the same kind of a thing.
I don't know what music would be like if it weren't for the influence of Ozzy. Ozzy changed everything.
I mean, you can't say anyone's immortal, but I think that Ozzy in that time was...
I think Ozzy's music is timeless. Makes me cry and gives me the chills. It's just
perfect. So why did you start as a rapper? Okay, that's the only thing I'm gonna say about him.
Dad is a kid from the streets who worked in factories. He's very much this working class, blue collar guy.
The working class thing is key because you grew up with nothing and you do everything you can every day so you don't go back to nothing. It was all about escaping your reality to something better.
He left one of the biggest rock bands in the world and became bigger, a credible artist on his own, finding great new talent, and then made it huge on TV. Nobody had done that.
He is the most irresistible madman you will ever meet in your life. He is the real Iron Man.
The reason why I do what I do is because it's what everybody wants to do, but they ain't got the guts to. And all I am is honest.
I'm gonna lie, I like that look with the haircut.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I know that song.
There ain't many people who have had such a longevity as I have. I feel honoured that people still want to see me, you know.
When you feel that audience jumping, it's like a better feeling than an orgasm. The party's on, man.
My father always said I'd do something big one day. He says to me, you're either going to do something very special or you're going to go to prison. He was right, you know.
Oh! Pretty sure he wasn't too far off.
I had a dream and it came true. I have a good life.
My name is John Michael Osbourne. Not many people call me John. So Oz or Ozzy. And if I walk down the street now and somebody went, John, I wouldn't stop. Although I am John, I'll leave Ozzy on stage. I'll come off as John. I was born in Birmingham, England, 1948. The only thing that was around me was factories. A lot of Birmingham was bombed during the Second World War. I think a place to play was called the bomb site. That was where you played, not realising that it was a place that had been bombed during World War II. Your imagination would run wild. Oh, it's changed a lot. It's changed an awful lot since I lived there. Wow. The bedroom I had back then was no bigger than 2 single beds side by side. I lived in here for a while, and yeah. There was no inside toilet. There was a bucket to pee in at the end of the bed. We had an outside toilet where you go for a dump. You didn't have toilet paper, you had newspaper.
What?
You didn't have soap and water, which was a big stigma for me. I had a lot of shame when I was a kid. Because I always felt dirty. I always felt unclean. I felt like a peasant, you know. There were 6 kids. My 3 older sisters were Jean, Iris, and Gillian. I also had 2 younger brothers, Paul and Tony. My father was a toolmaker. He never would miss a day from work. Come rain, come shine, we were sick, and I'm a bit like that. I loved him. When my dad came home after working all night in a factory, my mother Lillian would start her shift. I was petrified most of the time because I was a very nervous guy. Fear of impending doom ruled my life. I convinced myself if I stepped on cracks, something really bad would happen when I got home, like my mother would be dead or something like that. When my dad was sleeping through the day, I would be freaking out thinking he was dead. I'd have to poke him to make sure he was still breathing. I can tell you, he wasn't too pleased about that.
Where did you guys spend most of your time?
If I would have did that to my father, bro, even though my father was a gentle guy, so I only got beat by my father twice. One when, oh man, I gotta tell that story probably. One when I took money from his wallet, and then another time where I almost put the house on fire. But we'll one day tell those stories. But yeah, if I would have poked my dad while he was sleeping before he had to go to work, oh my God. But yeah, that's crazy, man.
In the street, because it was too crowded in the house.
He didn't have a very happy school life. He was always penalised probably because he was so slow.
18 school. I spent more time smoking cigarettes in a boys' room and being in class. I wasn't good at school.
But we didn't realise he was dyslexic. We just thought perhaps he was like, slow to learn.
There was a lot of shame for me because if you had that learning disability, they would put you in the corner with a cone on your head because they called you the class dunce, and the whole class laughed at you, which made me go further into me. I hated it. All right, I was a class clown. I would go to the biggest guy in the class, make him laugh, and he would be my mate, so no one would hassle him because I got this big guy with me. Most comedians I know, off stage, are very unhappy people. And that's kind of true to my life. I'm making you laugh to make me feel safe around you. At 16, I was on the streets.
When John left school, he sort of went from one little job to another.
I didn't want to work in a day job. I couldn't stand getting up for a job in the morning.
I could never hold a 9-to-5 job down, ever. I'd go from a plumber to a builder. One of my jobs was working in a slaughterhouse. I remember gagging all day. But eventually, you get used to the smell. And I said to this guy, how long have you been doing this? He goes, 35 years. I'm retiring and they're going to give me a gold watch. I remember turning to him and said, if I want a gold watch that bad, I'll go and throw a brick through a jeweler's window. I had to at least try and have a little bit of fun with my life while I was young.
John used to go out and have a drink, get in fights, and that was it. From what I saw of John, he was always in and out of trouble. You know, Dad was always telling him off.
That's the shop that I broke into. That was Mrs. Clark's shop I broke into. Yeah, I broke into a...
Wait, you broke into a shop we live right next door to? Okay. I don't know how smart that was.
shop at the back of my house. Man, a lot of the kids turned to crime, and I did for a time, but I wasn't really good at it, you know. I wasn't a career criminal. I kind of wanted to get caught in a way, to be accepted by the rest of the bad guys in the area. I didn't want to go to jail, but that's where I ended up.
So your father was right.
In a place full of bad people, it's a bit of an education. They don't want to kill you, they want to have sex with a young boy with long auburn hair. 1 month in jail is long enough. And my father didn't pay the fine because he wanted to teach me a lesson, so he said. Taught me a lesson in the respect that after 6 weeks in prison, I knew I didn't want to go back. I had no idea what my life was about to explode into. I had no idea. I've got to go for a piss.
What a transition.
Let me tell you something. After 6 weeks in prison, I knew I didn't want to go back. And I just didn't want to work in a factory. The only thing I had a passion for was music.
Wow, so interesting. First, start of his life, hard-working parents, kind of, guess middle to low class, life of crime. I think that's a pretty typical rock star story right there. Wow, interesting. But at the one important part, he said, I didn't want to be ordinary, which is nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5 and working for your family, but I understand that, man. You want to do something bigger than your dreams can't even think of.
It was like a very integral part of the family. There was always music for the record player, the radio, the piano. By the time I was about 14, I discovered music through the Beatles.
Okay, Paul.
Fab Four, when the Beatles happened, it changed my life. It gave me the seed to want to do it myself. My dad was a good guy. I loved him. I taught my father to get me a cheque for £250. When I went to George Clay's music shop in Birmingham, he got me a Shure mic, a stand, and a 50-watt Vox PA. I thought it was the best gift ever. If my father hadn't bought me that mic and PA, I would definitely not be here now.
First time I ever met Ozzy was at school. He was a year younger than me. We all lived around the same sort of area.
The first time I met Ozzy was with Geezer and Tony as well.
We needed a singer for the band, so we went to this music shop in Birmingham where all the musicians used to hang out. And we saw this advert for Ozzy Zig requires gig. And the magic words, has his own PA.
I said to Bill, I know an Ozzy, but it can't be him. Because he, as far as I knew, he never sang.
Well, I wasn't that I was the greatest singer on the earth. But if you had an ad which said, I own my own PA, you got people knock your door.
Myself and Tony and Geezer, we went to his house.
I took to him straight away.
It was his personality and also his knowledge of blues music. I mean, he could really sing really good blues.
So we all decided, oh, why don't we just form a band together, have a go,
Then we did our first rehearsals not soon after.
Nobody got any sleep. I mean, they were crazy days. They're just like, a bunch of guys together that are just having a lot of fun. Back then, we were pretty scruffy, and Oz was probably the most outrageously scruffy of everybody. His pants were falling off him. Couldn't afford a pair of shoes.
It was fun. It beat going to some industrial pollution miserable job.
At first, we just did blues stuff, like 12-bar blues. We just used to get together, jam for about 2 hours. Usually, magically, this riff would appear, and we'd just all latch onto it and just keep jamming until we'd finish the song.
We used to rehearse in a community centre, and we used to have to get there for 9 o'clock in the morning, and it was across the road from a movie theatre. And I remember it was Tony who said one morning, he said, isn't it peculiar that people pay money to go and see horror films? why don't we start writing scary music?
Somebody gave Ozzy this old 16th century book of black magic, and he brought it round to my flat because he knew I was interested in magic and all that kind of thing. And I just got this really weird vibe off it. And that night, I just like woke up suddenly and there was just like this black shape at the bottom of my bed. About 3 days after that, we came up with our first song, Black Sabbath.
What is this that stands before me?
You know, the song, the Black Sabbath with the bells coming in and the boom.
Ice-T!
That was just like the basis of my introduction to rock.
I'm sorry. If there's somebody I did not expect to see, it's Ice-T. Even though he had an underrated kind of like rock album or influence in like the late 80s or whatever. Like Cop Killer, all that stuff, you know? But I'll turn out to do a lifelong character as a cop. But interesting, like Black Magic, really? I'm not shocked, but just like, okay, that's a certain direction to take. Why don't we just make ourselves a horror group? Like, okay.
Black Sabbath seems to be the first heavy metal music. All the Metallicas and Slayers and Soundgarden, it all leads back to Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath.
So they're like the pioneer, okay,
We
of like
would
heavy
play
metal?
that song, and people would run out screaming. People f***ing freaked out.
I think I know that song. Thank you very much, thank you.
It took off so quickly. It was just great, though. We'd get in the van, get on the ferry, get pissed on the ferry.
We did a lot of gigs up north, and we all slept in the same caravan.
And we all relied on each other if we ever needed anything.
We had an absolute blast. When we made our first record, Black Sabbath, most of the record sales had come from northwest England.
Mum, we're on the radio. I couldn't believe we're on my voice was coming up through the radio, and the whole of England was listening to me sing. I couldn't believe it. And the first thing I did when I got any money was I went out, I got myself drunk, bought some shoes and socks, I bought a bottle of Brut to smell better. Literally paranoid, that went straight to number one. It was like, in the matter of 3 years, we've gone from being a nothing band to this #1 band in England. It happened so quick.
That's Black Sabbath? Holy shit, yo.
The beauty.
Wow,
of
did not know that was
Ozzy's
Black
range is that
Sabbath.
He can sing in a place where the guitars can be this giant, grand, monstrous thing, and he can dance on top.
They're all like brothers, so it's like a family, you know.
I think it was about as close as 4 heterosexual men can get. Well, I've got 3 brothers at home, and it's beyond that even.
We like the name Black Sabbath, so it's
We just like the name, you know.
that's all it is, just a name, Black Sabbath.
Well, what do you do to relax?
Smoke marijuana.
You were joking when you said that, of course.
Yeah, right.
I never understood why marijuana, well, I know why marijuana was made illegal because, you know, the government couldn't profit off it. So because it couldn't profit off it, it became illegal. Well, like, I never understood why that was the case. But yeah, like everybody, never mind, I'm not gonna get my soapbox, but I just love that Ozzy was just so like transparent and honest. It's like, this smoke some weed. Like, that's how we pass the time, man. I just love, like, he seems like a free spirit.
Shortly after I became successful with Black Sabbath, I met Thelma in a nightclub. Then we got married and we had 2 children, Jessica and Louis. I finally bought a house, £20,000, I thought. I have arrived, not realising that it was a giant mirage. Something ain't feeling right. By the summer of 1972, we were in Los Angeles to record a new album in honour of our newfound love of cocaine. If you look on the back of the album slip, it says, "We'd like to thank the great Coca-Cola Company of Los Angeles," meaning cocaine.
We did the album Volume 4, and we'd been in Los Angeles recording that for about 3 months. And it was the first time that we'd all got really heavily into cocaine. I mean, we were doing it every day, like 24 hours a day, practically.
We stayed up for 2 or 3 days sometimes.
In the early days, he was absolute bedlam, and I loved it. Going around with him was a total adventure. We never knew what was going to happen.
I was on the television, I was on the radio.
What is that shirt?
People recognised me and people wanted my autograph and chicks wanted to me, and it's like, wow, you know, it's like from being a grubby little from Aston to this. This is the big time now.
Wow. 250,000? Holy. Wow. That's crazy. Yo, that person jumped in the sky to get that goddamn shirt.
We thought this is unbelievable. We just lived the life. We were living the wrong, you know. I thought money would buy everything and fix everything, or a Mercedes. This is cool, man. But, you know, money would buy the alcohol and the drugs, and I'd behave badly. I mean, the way I treated Thelma, it was wrong. Treated her really badly, and the kids. 2 children. I was just a very selfish, self-centered, egotistical guy. And I around from day one. And that ain't cool. And my wife just had enough. I'm no good at handling loss of love.
The Black Sabbath band, it was just a mess. They got the houses, they got the cars, but the thing was, they were all in the manager's name.
The manager ripped us up lots of money.
They were so young at the time and naive and didn't understand anything about the industry, how all the sharks are out to bite you.
I don't think I've seen one goddamn story about the music industry where the artist did not get ripped off by the manager. It's almost like it's a rite of passage or something. Like, hot damn. Like, God. Like, that really sucks. Like, that just really sucks.
It's very sad, because he's destroyed us. At some point, we fired our manager.
Once we finally got out of that management, we basically made all the decisions ourselves, which was what led to the end of the band.
They went bankrupt, and this, of course, caused turmoil within the band. My dad was a legendary manager in the industry. In '79, when Sabbath signed with my dad, they were mates of mine, Black Sabbath. I was touring with Electric Light Orchestra and other bands. You'd see them at an airport, or, you know, we'd be staying in the same hotel. So there were many times that I'd seen Ozzy.
My father was very, very ill. He was in a hospital. I'd gone to see him the day before, and he was perked up a little bit. I picked up the phone when I got to this place. He's gone. I collapsed. I was like, my dad's gone. He was really heavy.
When his dad passed away, Oz was in absolute turmoil, and he put himself right inside the bottle, you know. He stayed there for a while.
When my father died, I couldn't stand it. I can't deal with loss. I can't deal with losing anything what I love. The most painful period of my life. I was devastated.
After his father passed away, we're trying to make another record. We actually came to Beverly Hills to do some writing.
And Ozzy didn't turn up for 2 weeks.
I was so fed up with it all. The truth of the matter was, I wasn't into Sabbath anymore.
We were all like, had this house rented in Bel Air, and it was costing a lot of money, which was, money that we didn't have at the time. And all he was interested in was getting smashed out of his head.
We were all up. Anyway, Tony would stay in his room doing quaaludes and blow all that. And they were saying that I was out of my head all the time. So
it's kind of like the pot calling the kettle black in the respect that we were all stoned,
The conversations began about the possibility of looking at another singer.
The decision was, if we don't, we're going to break up.
It was like a situation that's supposed to be a band, but yet when it came to the firing of me, I got Bill, who was my best friend, to come and do the dirty deed.
It was horrible. Yeah, I hated it. We'd all lived in unison. We'd all been the Four Musketeers, so now what?
I was just done. They were done with me, I was done with them. It was just like a divorce. I didn't know what I was going to do. After I got kicked out of Sabbath, I was still under a contract with Don and Sharon, and they put me up in a hotel in West Hollywood. Well, I mean, I thought, so I better have my last fling. And I just was ordered booze from Gill Turners, coke from a coke dealer, get a chick to come round and in for a bit of the old in-out.
We would give him a per diem every week. He'd have spent the per diem by Wednesday because it had gone on coke and, the usual. Pizza boxes in the sink and empty bottles of vodka and gin. And I just looked at him and I said, for sake, this has just got to end because we'll drop you. We'll drop you tomorrow.
Wow, so I didn't know Sharon was basically, well, she wasn't the manager, but she was basically associated with, she was the daughter of the manager, so she basically was his manager. Interesting. Wow, and the fact that he got kicked out his own group after losing his father, which I don't know the time span, but bruh, that has to be some of the lowest of the low to deal with that together. I didn't know I don't know, in my brain, I always thought he was with the group Blacks. Well, no, I don't know. I don't know, just because I'm not that knowledgeable about Ozzy, I don't know, in my brain he was always with the group, but then he was also always solo. I don't know, but man, got kicked out the group, man. It had to be very bad for the group to kick him out like that. It had to be like very bad. 'Cause I know they did not want to do that. So,
My wife wants a divorce. My father died, and my band kicked me out. That was one of the lowest points of my life. But my life was about to change.
Yeah, I feel like nobody wants you, and everybody leaves you.
Pick Ozzy up from the house after he'd got fired from Black Sabbath and brought him back to the office and, said to him, just don't worry, we're here for you. I think he honestly thought that we were and he'd be sent home.
It was a very sad period. I remember leaving there. I locked myself in a hotel room for 3 months, just getting smashed out of my brains every day,
I hadn't seen him for about a week and I went to see him. He just drank and, ordered pizzas all day and watched TV and never left the room. Feeling sorry for himself because he didn't believe in himself. But he was so down and I said, what the are you doing? Open the window. Get in the shower, shave that off.
And she said, if you clean yourself up, I want to manage. And I said, well, you want to manage me? You're crazy. I thought my career was in the pan,
Just because he'd got fired from Black Sabbath, the kids didn't care. They loved him. But as far as the industry goes, he got fired from one of the biggest rock bands in the world. He was an addict, so they wrote him off.
I wanted to be more mainstream without selling out to the pop. Well, I wanted to be more accessible. That was a bit of a slow process at first until I met someone who put me in touch with Randy Rhoads. And it kind of all started to click together, When I first met Randy Rhoads, I was out of my face. And he came in about this big, this thin, in high-heeled shoes. But then I heard him play, and I just went...
God. He looks familiar. I was like, I think I know him.
Me. And that was it.
As soon as he found Randy, it was like night and day. He was alive again.
Yeah, I
Randy, a breath of fresh air. Funny, ambitious, just a great guy.
I knew instinctively that he was something extra special. He was like a gift from God.
We worked so well together. Randy and I were like a team, you know.
One thing that he gave to me was hope. He gave me a reason for carrying on.
He had patience with me, which was great, Paul, and he was very good to work with, you know. He'd pull the best out of you, you know. We had a lot of fun.
We were lucky that my father financed Ozzy's solo career. He financed the album.
It was done on a 24-track machine in a barn in England. There was a lot of fun, there was a lot of drinking, a lot of partying, and then an album came out of it.
I was expecting an awful lot from Ozzy, but I wasn't expecting what I heard. He really can do it.
We had this brilliant album that was done in 6 weeks.
Blizzard of ours, because we were all doing cocaine.
To sell this album, we eventually got a deal at Epic for $65,000. And
sorry, it's the fact that you're hearing Sharon talk about the deal she made. Meanwhile, you have Ozzy talk about, yeah, we call it Blizzard of Oz because we do a lot of cocaine. Like, it's just the fact that they just talked over each other during that. I'm sorry, that's just hilarious to me, man.
And we took it because it was the only one that would take it. It came out in the UK first, and it was just instant hit.
I knew the Crazy Train was going to be a big song. I just knew.
Ozzy and Randy together were just phenomenal.
So I apparently know a lot more Ozzy songs than I thought I did.
On the road, and it was just fun. Drinking, partying, destroying rooms. I mean, it was just so much fun. And Randy was so funny and naughty, and it was just like every day was a new adventure.
Did you have an idea that he had a crush on you?
No. We were really kind of thrown together. But it wasn't until August of 1980 that we actually had a relationship going. It was the last night of rehearsals, and we had 2 days before the tour was starting. And I thought, oh, it's going to be the usual thing that had happened in my past anyway, that, you know, you go with a bloke, you him one night, and the next day doesn't know you. So, you know, like it was before.
Chance of that with you, but...
off. No, it wasn't the perfect case scenario at all.
Aside from recording and performing, what do you like doing best?
Sex.
Yeah, you know, he could have seen a guy in a frock, he would have...
Very transparent. Hey, the one thing Ozzy going to be is goddamn parent, bro.
Probably it. That's just the way Ozzy was when he's drunk and loaded. I mean, some ugly people. Oh, I wanted to know what it was like. And you're like, oh, for sake.
I wasn't a great cheater anyways.
Oh, you were a great cheater. You all her friends, all the staff. Then you came to me, every groupie that there was in the world.
Oh, well, that was just part of the job.
Yeah, time for a piss.
That was just occupational hazard.
Yeah. When your falls off, don't complain to me. It's like on the Blizzard tour, we were together 24 hours a day, every day.
I was still married to my ex-wife, but I fell in love with Sharon.
We were just having the time of our lives, and meanwhile, Ozzy had a wife and kids back at home. So it was, you know, a lot.
You could see that there was a chemistry. It kind of unfolded rapidly, but it wasn't something that it was flaunted in front of everybody.
It's hard enough working with someone, let alone being a partner with that person. Life's hard enough as it is without making it harder for everyone.
I am Ozzy Osbourne, and I've been a very extrovert person, best part of my life.
I suppose it's my way of saying to people, hey, I'm here.
And I think that's what a lot of people have picked up on me, the fact that I am extrovert. I'm not your normal kind of a rock and roller, you know.
So there was this boardroom meeting set up for the head of every department to meet Ozzy and I. What are we going to do that they're never going to forget? So we thought, all right, well, let's go in and we'll give them doves of peace. Everybody loves doves.
The dove was a total freak of nature, if you like. I was absolutely drunk and I was being introduced to the LA branch of CBS.
The original idea was I had bought these 2 doves to throw up in the air when I walked in to make this sort of...
No, it was a chicken, not a dove. Okay, never mind. It was a chicken. Okay, I was like, oh my God, just the infamous. Okay, never mind.
Like, I'm here.
We'd been, you know, having a very happy morning, and everybody sees the dove, and they're like,
Throw the carcass on the table.
It was not a publicity stunt. I was just out of my face on drugs and alcohol, you know. And everybody was like, it just shocked the out of everybody.
They called the security. The security got us, ushered us out. The head of legal was on the phone for me, and he said, if you ever do that again, we will absolutely destroy you. And we're like, you. As he's saying that, his album is going out to radio, and they're getting all these calls in from station managers saying, this record's unbelievable, we're playing it 20 times a day.
I'm sorry, I thought that was a one-time thing off impulse. I didn't know there was a thing that he was doing more than once. And for Sharon to be like, yeah, so what? I was just like, okay, well, I guess y'all do deserve to be with each other. Like, you just like, it's just, wow, okay.
And then it just spread like wildfire.
Oh, this,
the album went right into the charts. The reviews were unbelievable. Who doesn't love Crazy Train? It's just a classic.
Oh, Crazy Train.
Everyone in America had an Ozzy album and knew of Ozzy, and it was just a miracle.
It was new ground for him, making that transition from being a part of a group, Black Sabbath, to actually being the front man. And of course, you know, he always considered Randy his partner.
Wow, so he really... Has that ever happened before, to make 2 different groups? Because I thought it was just Black Sabbath. I didn't know, like, he had his own separate group. That was even, I'm guessing, more commercial. Well, he said it was going to be a little bit more commercial. So it was even more successful. I'm probably, there's probably examples, but not off the top of my head of someone who was in a group then went to create another group. Like, people going solo, but to create a whole nother group, I know there's examples. It's just not, I can't think of anybody on top of my head. I can't, like, Paul McCartney, like, But, wow, interesting.
Finished the Blizzard album, the first album, and he'd just done a small tour of the UK. There was a break before he was going to tour the rest of the world. I said, do you think you guys can do this record in a month? They did it like that, and it was brilliant.
I remember thinking, wow, this is going to be colossal. It was just wonderfully wild time. It was like one thing after another. It was a success. We had a lot of fun making them albums.
Blizzard was still in the charts when we put out Diary.
I think Blizzard and Diary
interesting cover.
were 2 of the finest albums that ever made, you know.
Ozzy solo was very different musically. The guitar styles were different, and the clothes were different. Everything about it was different. It was more in tune with the times that it was made.
It's a great feeling to have a success with the albums. That's what you all make a record for. It's just a magic time.
So we went into arenas, they were selling out. We had this huge stage set designed that was like a castle.
Diary of a Madman, it was the best stage I've ever worked at. It's so cool. It was like this gothic archway thing.
Wow. That
Something
looks insane.
crazy happened every night on that tour. But the craziest thing happening in Des Moines, Iowa.
The bat was a kind of an accident, which I did milk somewhat.
I always liked old movies where they used to have them custard pie fights. So it gave me this idea to throw, instead of pies, bits of meat and animal parts into the audience. I thought it was hilarious.
We had this big hand come out at the end of the show that Ozzy was on, and then there was a catapult in the back full of raw meat that Ozzy would throw at the audience. And the catapult went and everybody's covered in intestines and livers, and then people would come with like parts of animals and they would throw raw chickens.
Sheep's testicles and live snakes, dead rats, all kinds of things. Somebody took this frog on the stage. It was the biggest frog I've ever seen in my life, but it was landing on its back.
I was going hysterical. I thought it was a baby.
And somebody threw a bat.
I just thought it was a rubber bat, and I picked one, I put it in my mouth and plunged down. I just bit into it, you know, being the clown that I am. Oh no, it's real, you know. It was a real live bat.
Oh, the bats.
Bats are the biggest carriers of rabies in the world.
I had to go to the hospital afterwards, and they came and started giving me rabies shots.
And I had one in each rear, and I had to have that every night.
And it was on the news that Ozzy bit the head off a bat, and then it just spread like wildfire. There were stories that he will only go on if he kills so many kittens before he goes on stage.
It got to the point where people expect.
What? Like, what did I just watch? This dude, first of all, people would spend their money to go to a show, and Ozzy said, let's throw meat at them. Then have them throw animals on the stage, and I bite their heads off. I got nothing. Like I don't know what to say. I have nothing.
Me to do crazier and crazier things.
People elaborate, and Ozzy Osbourne has been created through them, not through me. All I did was get out there and make a mistake of biting a head off a bat. And I tell you what, guys, it ain't fun when you get them rabies shots.
If I was sober, I would never have urinated at the Alamo.
What?
Ozzy was on a bender. He'd wait for me to sleep and then slip out. I decided to hide all his clothes.
She'd go out and take my clothes, so I didn't have any clothes to wear.
In the middle of the night, Ozzy was looking for his clothes to go down and join his mates, and there weren't any.
So I thought, I know. So I put one of her dresses on and I went out.
And he put on one of my dresses and goes down into the bar. The next day, they had to do photos. He kept my dress on, and they took him to where the Alamo was.
And I wanted to take a pee. So I found this old wall, I thought it was an old alleyway, and I started to pee.
So he just lifted his dress and took a piss.
This cop turns up, there he is.
And he got arrested. And of course, after that, he was banned from San Antonio.
The city?
From what
you
I
were
did.
banned from a whole city? That's what. Well, I guess it'd be like if you piss on the Great Wall of China, you'd probably be banned from China. Hot damn, that's great. Like, bruh, that's crazy, bro. This, your man's, he's off the wall, bro. Yo.
The bat, the dove, the Alamo, and all the other. I suppose it was in the spirit of rock and roll, I don't know. I didn't mean any harm to anyone apart from the bat, the dove.
It all happened so quickly. It was like a movie, you know, when you see bands in movies and they're all in the van together and having a great time.
Where did I get a chicken
That's
from?
the way it was.
I thought he...
Why the did I wear them tassel t-shirts?
Yes, I want to know. That's what I was asking.
I've never seen this before, ever. I thought I'd seen it all. I don't know where this is unbelievable. I wasn't so much looking at me as looking at Randy. Just the feel of seeing him on stage playing. I kind of was there for a little bit, you know. I remember we did a gig in Knoxville, Tennessee, and we were driving from Knoxville, Tennessee to Orlando, Florida to do a gig with Foreigner.
And we must have got there about noon, and Ozzy and I stayed on the bus. Ozzy and I were sleeping in the back of the bus, and we got woken up by this huge, huge blast.
Boom! In the background, there's like a big stately home blazing. I can't understand what's going on. It's like being in a nightmare, you know.
Rudy, our bass player, was like screaming, "Get off the bus, get off the bus."
And we get out of the bus, and we had no idea still what was going on.
I see the tour manager down on his knees crying, "Randy, Rachel." I'm like, they go like that, and then there's part of the airplane sticking up through the house.
I realized that they had been on a plane, and the plane had crashed 1 or 2 inches lower. It would have crashed into the bus, and we would have blown up right there.
I don't know what the hell happened, but it killed them, but everybody died on the plane.
Randy Rhoads, the 25-year-old lead guitarist for Ozzy Osbourne's group, was killed in a plane crash this morning, along with 2 other people, the pilot of the plane, also Rachel Youngblood, the group's hairdresser. Ozzy Osbourne himself was in the tour bus when one of the plane's wings clipped it. But Ozzy escaped injury, we understand. 25-year-old Randy Rhoads is dead today.
Randy was a gift from God for Ozzy. I mean, he was everything to Ozzy.
I lost a dear friend in my life, and I miss him terribly. I just bathed my wounds with alcohol and drugs.
Wow, it's crazy because when Ozzy was looking at the tape and he said Randy was being next to me, I'm like, there's something happened. I was going to stop. I was going to be like, there's something happened to Randy, but I just let it go. I was like, maybe he just, I don't know, maybe he passed. But damn. And the fact that not only the plane could have easily got to his bus and killed him and his wife and people, but what if he was on the plane? That would be the end of Ozzy as well. Wow. Heavy RIP, man. Damn.
After the crash, I would say that it was a bigger job for Sharon to keep Ozzy, not only from drinking or doing drugs, but to doing damage to himself.
Ozzy still, to this day, feels guilty. Yeah, if only I was awake, I would never have let him get on that plane. And, you know, it's something that Ozzy lives with.
Every single show was a wake for our friend.
And the day that Randy Rhoads died was a day a part of me died, man. They forget that, you know? It just gets kind of weird.
I guess that we'll meet in the end.
I finally got divorced from my wife, and I wanted to marry Sharon. I loved her, and I didn't want to live without her. I wanted to start a new family.
Ozzy wanted to get married. It was just never a big thing for me, marriage. Getting a successful album tour, you know, those were the things that were important. It was never like, oh, you know, planning a wedding. Do you remember the first time you proposed to me?
No.
You do too.
I know I proposed, but I don't know where or when.
Do you remember the second?
No.
Any of them?
No.
Oh, you.
I don't. I remember when I married you, I think.
The first time he proposed to me, we were at my parents' house. He asked my father if he could marry me. So sweet. It was all
Again, he was doing a lot of drugs. Those are the side effects of drugs. So you'd be lucky if you remember what he did yesterday.
very lovely and nice, and we were all excited. And then the first argument, it goes out the bloody window into the garden and lost the ring.
Chaz, will you just bend over on your knees, please, darling, just for 1 sec?
Oh, with Dad? Are you crazy? I wouldn't go in the room with Dad. It'll end up in my back.
His manager, Sharon Arden.
She's the only woman I've loved in my life. She's my soulmate.
He is the most romantic man I've ever met in my life.
Sharon is making plans to wed Ozzy. It will be his second attempt.
I think actually he's marrying me so he doesn't have to give me 20% anymore.
I was still that drunk. I mean, when we first got together, we both did drink for drink.
Y'all got married on July 4th?
She said, you know what? I can't do this anymore. She never drank again.
I said to Ozzy, one of us has got to be sober, because we're never going to survive this.
I just go, what's wrong with her? It wasn't her, what's wrong with me?
Ozzy's got a great heart, but unfortunately, his addiction is bigger than his heart.
I don't know what I'd do without her, you know.
Ozzy wanted babies. 5 months after we were married, I was pregnant. We were over the moon when we found out. We're like, yes!
Wait, are you kissing with your eyes open? Yo, that's different.
It was very exciting. Amy was born, then it was like, here you go, tour time again. Amy, Ozzy, and I on the road, and we toured like that forever.
The one tour that I will never forget was the Motley Crue tour. We used to have the wildest time then.
The Bark at the Moon tour with Motley was over the top.
That tour with Motley Crue, we used to do the crazy. Is it true that I snorted a line of ants? It's incredibly possible, but do I remember it? No. I remember one time I was in Memphis, Tennessee, and we went to Benihana's. I had a sake, and I was drinking it out of a soup bowl. The next thing I know, I wake up in pitch blackness, and I'm, where the am I? This pair of lights come towards me, and I go, what the is that? And it goes right past me. I'm feeling around, I want to take a piss, and I'm feeling in the dark. I get my out to piss, and suddenly these blue lights go, woo! The cop goes, when you finish shaking that thing, mister, you're actually in jail. I was thrown in jail till 6 o'clock in the morning. And as I got out of jail,
I made it a rule, never go to a police station, never pick him up. You're a big boy.
I don't know how any of us survived. But then it started to twist on me, and I started to take the persona of Ozzy off stage. I had to drink more and more and more to get what I wanted, and I didn't want to be really be there. And it just twisted on you, you know.
Is it always like this, or is this an exception?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Come on! Come on!
Yeah. I never drank socially. I never took coke socially. I never smoked dope socially. I never did anything socially. I did it to get up, you know. Sobriety sucks.
You think, I know I can make him stop. If I threaten to leave him, he'll stop. If he knows what a father he is, he will definitely learn a lesson and he'll stop. No, they'll stop when they want to stop. You know, you can't make anybody stop. And if anything, you know, his success and his money just made it all worse.
I wasn't drinking for pleasure, I was self-medicating. We call it Dutch courage in England.
Ozzy was in bad way physically, you know, drunk every day. I just couldn't take it. So he'd promised that he would wait until Kelly was born and then he would go into treatment.
Sharon came up to me, she said, I found this place where they teach you to drink like a gentleman, properly. I'm going, that's it. Why didn't I think of that? I've been doing it all wrong. I was there for Kelly's birth. I remember Kelly being born as if it was yesterday.
I was born October 27th, 1984.
I just imagine like, oh, it's just, you need to drink like a gentleman, just swirling the alcohol in the wine glass. Ah, 1947 Rome. Like, I just imagine it. Like, Ozzy ain't doing that, bro. I feel like he's the type, either he goes all the way or not at all, bro.
October 28th, 1984, my dad flew to the Betty Ford Clinic for the first time.
So when I get there, I go, where's the bar? She goes, what? Where's the bar for me to start drinking? You're in the right place, but we ain't got a bar. And then it was like 6 weeks without a drink. But as I was leaving there, this one woman said to me, I've listened to all these other counsellors tell you how wonderful I think you are. I'm telling you, you're going to drink again. She said, and every time you pick that glass up, you're going to see my face.
How long did Ozzy stay sober after Betty Ford?
About 45 minutes.
And every time I picked that drink up, it wasn't the same anymore, and I'd see that woman's face for the longest time.
Hi, my name's Jack Osbourne. My name is Kelly Lee Osbourne. I'm Amy Osbourne, and I'm the oldest of the children. My dad is Ozzy. He's a famous pop star. I love you, Daddy.
I think that was 1986. I was over the top. I mean, everything was over the top. But people thought I was camp.
What the was I smoking?
I'm gonna lie, I like that robe, whatever that is. Hold on. Let's see if I can get it. Wait. Whatever that robe is, looks fire. Hold on. I like that robe. I like that. I think it's dope with the blonde hair. I'm like, okay, Ozzy, okay. I like that look.
1986. I was over the top. I mean, everything was over the top. But people thought I was camp.
What the was I smoking?
We'd been told we were having a girl again. And then when Jack was born and the doctor said, it's a boy.
When I popped out, Daddy saw my willy and he fainted.
Ozzy fainted because he was drunk.
And my kids, and I love them all, you know. I love them all in different ways, but I mean, because they're all different personalities, you know.
Being aware of his addiction problems was something that was always been on the radar.
My mum protected us and shielded us from so much until she couldn't. It didn't affect me and my brother the way that it affected my sister.
The degrees from time to time would change of how, you know, if he would be good or bad or in the middle somewhere, but it was always there. I didn't want all of the chaos. I just wanted, you know, like quiet, normal, you know, kind of upbringing.
For some reason, birthdays were always a source of kind of, I hope Dad doesn't act up again.
Like, one of my first memories is it was my 3rd birthday that my mum videotaped him doing what he thought he was being the fun dad. He locked us all in a Wendy house, which is like a kid's playhouse, and went and got his mask, the prosthetic mask on the Bark at the Moon music video, which is terrifying. It's like a huge wolf mask, and it had these huge fake sharp fang teeth and these gloves with fangs. And he was like, I'm gonna huff and I'll puff and I'll blow this house down. Every single kid cried and had to get picked up and go home. And me, Jack, and Amy thought it was the most hilarious thing that we've ever seen.
It's like the total Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde syndrome. I'm not. Nobody under the influence of any alcohol or drug is the same person.
Ozzy sober is, you know, the best company in the world. Funny.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I've never understood being so, like, me drunk, or when I used to get drunk, not really, there's no much difference. I guess a little bit more outgoing, I guess. But I'm crazy off of alcohol. So, like, I'm just a little bit more of an extrovert, but, like, I'm not really that different. So, or at least that's what I've been told. So I never understood people being completely different from on substances. Like, I feel like same thing with, like, I don't know. Like, I just never understood that concept. Like, I feel like, at least for me, I'm the same either way. So, I don't know. I always found that to be weird.
Entertaining, kind, sweet, give you the shirt off his back. Ozzy using alcohol or drugs, a complete, that's it. It's like night and day. That's it. He was up. He was like the week before, he's been on a roll. Ozzy was on a bender.
We're always fighting moonshine.
And we'd had a couple of fights, and it was just building to something. You could just feel it. So I just knew it was coming. And Ozzy is very rarely calm. See, before he did it, so calm and like... So God only knows what combination he was on of whatever it was. Whether he was sniffing glue or dogs' asses or whatever it was, but it frightened the out of me.
I felt the calmest I'd ever felt in my life. It was like serenity. It was like I was looking, it was just, everything was just peaceful.
And I put the kids to bed, bath them. We had a nanny living at the house then, and I was just sat down reading, and he came into the room. I had no idea who was sat across from me on the sofa, but it wasn't my husband. He goes to a stage where he gets this look in his eyes where you can't, there's shutters, you know, shutters were down on his eyes, and I just couldn't get through to him. And he just said, we've come to a decision that you've got to die. You know, he was calm, very, very calm, and then just suddenly he lunged across at me. And just dived on me and started to choke me. He got me down on the ground on top of me, and I was feeling for stuff on the table, and I felt for the panic button, and I just pressed it. And next thing I know, the cops were there.
Holy sh! That is one of the most scariest things I've ever heard. Like, your husband is sitting across from you with like a blank stare, like, we've decided that it's time for you to die, and just lunge and tries to kill. How do you ever be in the same room with that person ever again? Like, what? Like, bro, thank God that she found a panic button, or this will be a very tragic story. Like, what? Bruh. God damn. This really is the 9 Lives of Ozzy Osbourne. Like, this is a true title. Wow. Jesus, Ozzy, what's going on, man?
Does it make you feel uncomfortable when you talk about it?
Sorry?
Does it make you feel uncomfortable when you talk about it?
Well, it's not exactly one of my greatest achievements.
All I could think of was the kids, and you're not going to do it. You're just not going to take me out. There's no way I'm leaving my kids. So it was probably the most frightened that I've ever been.
All I remember was waking up in Amersham jail, and I asked the cop, "Why am I here?" He says, "You want me to read your charge?" So he read, John Michael had been arrested for attempted murder of Sharon Osbourne. I'm like, "Is this a joke?" He says, "No, I'm not joking. He says, you're going to court in a minute." That hit me like, it was like a hammer between the eyes. And I was very, very surprised when she dropped the charges.
So you thought about getting a divorce?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. I was, you know, looking at all my options I had left in my life, and my option, you know, divorce, all of them. I was looking at everything. Okay, what is going to be the best for my kids? What is going to be the best for me? And thank God the judge put him in treatment for 6 months. So I had time on my hands to really think about what I should do. And I don't want your money, I don't want your but if you do this to me again, either I'm gonna kill you or you're gonna kill me. And do you want that for the kids?
I could have killed Sharon. And that's a desolate feeling. She's my soulmate, I love her.
For some reason, anytime something crazy happened, it was always followed by like a trip to Hawaii or a vacation somewhere. And I think, to be honest with you, things like that is why I hate going on holiday. I don't like going to places where there's a beach and there's sun, because it reminds me of being a kid, and that was what we did after Dad did something bad.
Yes, they love each other. They're business partners. They have kids. They both kind of created this, you know, brand and empire together. It's maybe worth the fight every now and then.
I was really lonely without Ozzy. I really, really missed him. I missed his stupid, bloody jokes and even his untidiness. I really, really missed him. I hate it.
I'm sorry. We got to go back. Because I was like, I was kind of entranced right there. And I just now realized what the heck I saw. Hold on. Wait, hold on.
I was really lonely without Ozzy. I really, really missed him. I missed his stupid...
Yo, get your mans, bro. Get your mans. Yo, what's wrong? Get your mans, yo.
Bloody jokes and even his untidiness. I really, really missed him. I hated being without him. But Ozzy was very, very frightened when he came out. And so when he was in the house, he definitely watched what he was doing. He was frightened too. He'd frightened himself.
The new drug and alcohol-free Ozzy Osbourne is a fitness fanatic.
He'll work out for 2-3 hours at a time, non-stop, won't take a break.
It's good fun now. Don't look like I'm having good fun.
He drives himself crazy because if he doesn't do it each day, then he gets really annoyed with himself.
Get fit and die quicker.
Ozzy was doing really well. He was, he was worth.
I just gotta commend. I don't know how the rest of this is gonna go. I gotta commend Sharon, man. Like, again, maybe, I don't know if she has any type of faith or anything, but she could have easily pressed charges. He could be in jail for the rest of his life. I don't know how much you get for attempted murder, but he could have easily been in jail for the rest of his life. Like, but I noticed how much she kept saying how much he has a good heart. So maybe it was just the love she has for him, and it's still the father of of her children, that she didn't press charges, and I just don't know how she was able to ever trust him again in the same room. Like, I just don't know how you do that. Like, I just don't know how you do that, man. That's scary. That's like really scary, but I don't know what the rest of the story is going to be, but looks like he might have been able to. That scared him so much that he might be able to finally rehabilitate. So let's see.
Out, he was trying to be the best Ozzy that he could be for us. He was trying his best. He really was.
After the darkness at the end of the 80s, I started the 90s with one of my biggest albums. But I had no idea that I might not tour again.
Hello, my name's Mr. Osbourne. I wondered if it could be possible to speak to my wife, Mrs. Sharon Osbourne. You could have been a better friend to me.
No More Tears was big album for Ozzy. 4 times platinum. Ozzy had said, you know, this song's for you because I'm coming home. I think I've had enough of doing all of this and I'm coming home. And it was just, I still adore the song. Adore it.
I don't think I've ever heard this.
I mean, now I'm selling more records than ever. I'm playing to bigger audiences than ever. My record, No More Tears, is selling like crazy over here. I mean, it's my biggest selling record to date.
Which also, watching a lot of these docs, right? Like being a major Michael Jackson fan and being a fan of Prince and James Brown, like, it's amazing to me how, I don't know, maybe I'm just jaded because of how badly I saw Michael get treated. But the fact that he was able to go through all this, biting off heads of bats and the drugs and all that, and attempted, I can only imagine the media storm, which he didn't cover. I don't know. That's interesting. He didn't do that. But the media storm that came after it being found out that he was arrested for attempted murder, unless somehow that did not get out because the charges were dropped. So maybe that just never got out. But like all this going on, and he never lost his fans. He never lost, people wanting to go buy his records. Again, maybe a lot of this stuff was just not known. I don't know. But it's interesting that he was able to continue to come back. I mean, he got dropped from his own band, but he was able to keep coming back. So this is like he just keeps coming back. Like, he does not stay down. Even though he almost like he tried to do everything in his power to self-sabotage himself, but he just kept finding ways to somehow, just by like the skin of his teeth, to come back. So this is really a success story.
Dad's always had a weird gait to his walk and like this tremor, and a doctor diagnosed him with multiple sclerosis. And back then with MS, it was like, get a good TV remote because you're gonna end up bedridden.
Hang on, the doctor said a little bit of MS. It's like saying you're a little bit pregnant. You either are or you're out, I think. I don't know.
We knew that something wasn't right with my dad. And we saw doctor after doctor after doctor.
So I flew to Boston and I spent the whole of the week. And he said, I want to run some tests. I said, whatever you got to do, if you keep me here for a year, I've just got to find out one way or the other. And the doctor goes, you do not have MS. And I said, I never thought of it. Now, it turns out that I had a hereditary non-specific tremor. It's very rare that what happened. They give me a small amount of medication and I'm okay with it. I don't tremor anymore.
A lot of it was probably to do with excessive drug use and alcohol use at the time. And his body was just shot. Yeah. He did a lot of cocaine in the 80s.
This is supposed to be my farewell tour.
We'll see.
And he did one last tour. He did the No More Tours tour. It was the final leg of touring the No More Tears album. And it was like the goodbye Ozzy kind of thing.
It's the end of the road, baby. I'm coming home.
Really?
Yeah, really. I'm coming home finally.
Let's go home.
All right, let's go. It's my farewell tour. The reason for being that is because I still want to make records, but I want to spend less time on the road because going on a bus for 12 hours is not a very glamorous lifestyle. It pays its toll on me because I'm not. My head still thinks my ass is 21, you know.
I remember his last show, and I remember the fireworks going off at the end. Something like, I'll be back. And then I remember us just going home to England.
We went home, and it was the summertime, and we just moved into our welder's house, and it was like heaven, perfect. The kids had the best time.
She's Daddy.
And it was just a really, really great time because there was no pressure to do anything.
It was good. Dad was in a really good place. He was really kind of, settling into, the notion of retired life.
The kids had the best time with their dad. It was definitely the longest time of being with their dad, just doing family. That's all Ozzy did, was his family. So he wasn't drinking and using, and he was just great. He usually ends up sleeping in the kitchen with the dogs, and he lives in it. That's his room, the couch on the kitchen.
Whenever Dad was home, I always got the feeling he was bored. Like he'd never, even though he complains to this day about touring, he's not good at home. Like I literally just remember him as like the dude on the couch. He'd pick me up from school occasionally, but I always just got the feeling like he was like, what do I do? I'm here, and this is not what I'm good at.
Dad, that's sick.
And I suddenly realised that Ozzy belongs on the road, Ozzy is, I felt like a caged animal. I bought different toys and all kinds of things.
My dad's like, I'm making a bicycle, I'm gonna ride a bike. Because the guy at the bike shop was also giving him weed, like small, like English village, but I just remember it was like his purpose in life got taken away from him.
Now I'm ready to come out and go crazy again, Because I really missed my audience, I really missed there's not a thrill in the world like a great show,
So how long was it that he lasted between No More Tours to doing another tour? That's what I'm curious about. No More Tours, okay, so No More Tours tour is, let's see. This is 92, ended in 92, November 92. Then the next tour, Retirement Sucks, was 95. So he's able to at least make it 3 years, technically. That's funny. He named the next tour Retirement Sucks. I mean, by this particular point, he would have been, what, in his 40s? Yeah, he would have been in his 40s by this particular point. So, yeah, just, some people just love the road, man.
And then it was like, you got to get back to the real world. And so it was like, all right, you should do Lollapalooza and, things like that. And then the agent called back and said, oh, no, what? They don't want Ozzy on Lollapalooza. He's not cool enough. And I'm like, how dare they say that?
And my mom was like, we're going to start our own festival.
Yeah, let's do our own thing. And that's how it came up with Ozzfest.
Welcome to Ozzfest.
What makes Ozzfest so special is that every outcast, every kid that was told that they were weird for what they listened to and what they dressed like, got to come together in one place and be accepted and be themselves and have the best day of their lives.
This is the best day of my whole life, man. It's gonna be awesome. Woo!
Ozzfest was our summer camp. We would get out of school and the next day be on a flight to wherever it was starting. Mom actually started to book the tour in accordance with our school schedule.
I wouldn't be Ozzfest without the fans. I wouldn't be Ozzfest. It's a way for me to get back to the fans.
Don't let Ozzy down, because he's backstage listening to your asses right now.
I go up there and I want to give them my heart and soul, and I really want to do that every night, and sometimes I can, and sometimes I can't, and when I can't, I'm a pissed off son of a bitch, and when I can, I'm the happiest guy in the world.
Ozzfest was a big success, but when the TV show took up, things got really weird.
I do think that's super cool. Like, like some promoter like, oh, Ozzy's not cool enough. Like, f you. Like, what do you? It's not cool enough. Like, I'm the reason why you probably have a festival. What are you talking about? I'm not cool enough. Like, but again, I think this is almost every genre. By the time you get to the late 80s, early 90s, all these companies got so commercialized and became such capitalist that all your legends and stuff, like, they just, everything was trendy. So by the mid-90s, like, it's just whatever. But I think that's just so cool. Like, he just created his own festivals. And again, his wife Sharon, man, like, hot damn. Like, she's as much as part of this story as Ozzy is. Like, hot damn, man.
I went from sold-out shows on Ozzfest to having TV cameras in my house. Where did that come from?
This is how I was introduced to him, by the way.
Turn the thing up, it's driving me mad, man.
Crazy. People would come into our house and go, is it always like this?
Jack!
Oh, jeez. Why don't you shut the up?
We would go, like, what?
Stop screaming!
We just do what we do. And many people would say, you have to film this.
The success of the show, I think, really turned my dad into a household name. And I think when the Osbournes came out, he was worried that he was no longer going to get the validation from his fans because he'd become so vulnerable.
All of a sudden, I was a TV star, and I'm thinking, this is unbelievable.
She won't come out.
Sharon! The one part of the show that I thought was funny when Lola, the bulldog, puked. It was for real. That's the way we are. Dog pooping and all.
To be Ozzy Osbourne, it could be worse. I could be Sting.
He'd crossed over. You know, he'd made that leap from being...
Like, I don't even know what that means. Like, from what I know, Sting is, like, a legend. Like, I don't know why he would say that. Unless you mean, like, Sting the wrestler, but even, what was it, like, early 90s, early 2000s, Sting was also a legend. So I don't even know what that means. I don't know. That just, like, what? It could be worse. I could be Sting. You know, I haven't heard, like, a one bad thing about Sting, but yeah. That's how I was introduced to Ozzy Osbourne, to reality TV. Oh, the gift and the curse of what was reality TV.
Guy on the poster in your teenage son's bedroom to now the guy on the TV in the family living room, and mom and dad loved him just as much in a different way.
Sharon, I will say it very slowly. It is not my band, and I don't want to do any promotion.
Do you want to do it?
Yes.
Seeing the fact that my father is a father and a good father, and despite his flaws, and a rock star, it tripped people out and it made them love him.
I love you all. I love you more than life itself. You don't man.
It was the first time that any sort of celebrity had opened up their home, but yet they related to our family. Their old man couldn't work a remote control either. The people that really matter are the public, and the public related and loved Ozzy.
In one respect, it was fantastic. But I'm glad it ended when it did, because when you've got cameras in your house 24/7, you start to feel like a experiment, you know.
When you become a TV star, you're in people's homes. And it's so much bigger than actually being a rock star. It's like from here to here.
What a fantastic audience we had tonight. Celebrities, Hollywood stars, Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy Osbourne. I just love that.
I thought, I think there would be a day where I will miss George W. Bush Jr. You know how bad it has to be to where, like, God, I miss just that dunce of a guy, George Bush. Like, I just miss that old rascal George Bush. That's how, man, we don't know how good we had it, dog. We don't know how good. All right, man. That's crazy, though. We got shout out by the president. But again, it's still Ozzy Osbourne, though. But you think George Bush was a Ozzy Osbourne fan or like a Black Sabbath fan? I don't know. I don't peg George Bush to be. He seems like he would be like a George Whalen. Is it George Whalen? Okay, what is it? Something Whalen. Not George. Where did I get George Whalen from? Should I cut all this out? I'll just keep it in. I don't care. Not George Mark. It's like Mark. It's like Whalen. I'm not going to get it. But like he's definitely a Garth Brooks, probably Christina Aguilera fan. Like, I don't know. Anyway, my bad. Bet you didn't think we were going to get a George Bush what's in his playlist portion of this goddamn video.
That happened.
I know that made my dad feel very special. Being
it is George
the boy
Whalen,
from Birmingham who grew up with nothing to being invited to the White House.
Ozzy, Mom loves your stuff.
You know that level of success, you know it's going to come down like, you know, you fire an arrow, fire him to the stratosphere, it's going to come back down.
Everything is so good. I'm always like one of these people, like, I know, typical Jewish mother, something's going to happen. It can't be this good, you know?
When I found out, seriously, it was like someone stabbed me in the chest.
You think something like that can never come into your family, but when it does, it's just a really big shock.
At first you're like, oh, what are we going to do now? You don't accept it, but you don't ignore it, you know.
The diagnosis was colon cancer.
And one hand were the biggest things in sliced bread for 5 minutes. And then they told me, oh, I've got colon cancer. And I was like, it's like a bad dream.
We're doing our own version of ER.
So this is your first, right?
Just like a virgin. Be gentle, Gabriel.
I'm gonna be very gentle.
Do they put you to sleep?
They give you a pill and the pain goes away. I'm not frightened. I'm not any of that.
I love you.
I remember everything just felt like, oh my God, we're going to lose my mom. We can't do this. Like,
I
this
think
is
I
terrible.
do remember this, actually.
And then when my dad found out, it sent him over the deep end, like literally sent him over the deep end.
Ozzy was self-medicating because of everything that had happened with me.
Watching my mom be sick, he could not handle. He started drinking and using more than I had ever seen him.
Someone has been in my room and taken my beers away from my room.
I don't think so, darling. Who would do that?
Because I kind of swallowed the pill that she ain't gonna make it.
Ozzy!
But in that, you could see how much he loved her, how much he adored my mum, even though he made the whole process so much harder.
Ozzy and Kelly recorded a cover of Changes, and they were going to promote it in Europe, so they were in England.
Changes was always one of my favorite Black Sabbath songs.
It was written with me and the guys from Sabbath a long time ago. And she loved the song, and it's special to me, you know.
I was gonna ask that. Whatever happened to Sabbath? Like, did they just? I don't know if they're gonna cover it. You only got like 15 minutes left. Whatever happened to Sabbath? Like, did they become just yesteryear, or did they become more successful, or what happened to them? Like, I'm kind of curious about that.
It was my first number one in England for years.
Oh my God, I think I heard this song.
And was a huge hit for the both of us. To have your first number one with your dad, and for it to be your dad's first number one, was magic.
Great, I love you.
But ever there is a moment in my family where everything seems good, I sit there and I'm like, what's coming?
It's a lovely day today. I'm just gonna go lap around the field.
Ozzy, can you breathe?
Someone get back and get an ambulance.
Oh my God.
Get an ambulance.
I was live on a TV show in England promoting the single, and a policeman walked into the studio and was standing by the camera, and I was like, oh my God, I'm about to get arrested. The policeman walked me into a room, handed me a phone, and said, it's your mum. And my mum was going through chemo at that time, and my mum said, I need you to sit down.
What's wrong?
She said to me, your dad's had an accident. We don't know what's going on. We don't know if he's gonna make it. I need you to get to him.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
He's got bleeding in one lung, and they might have to go in and operate on that. They've got a specialist on the way to see him.
It's up bad.
Big time, Jeff.
They took me to Wexham Hospital, and he came out of surgery. They wouldn't let me see him, and he was in a coma. But at one point, I had a mother in intensive care in LA and a father in intensive care in England.
Osbourne fractured 8 ribs, cracked a vertebra in his neck, and broke his collarbone. He underwent emergency surgery.
And as soon as I got the call, I'm like, okay, what's the first flight out of here? I remember landing at Heathrow, and the police were waiting for me to take me straight to the hospital, and your husband's lying there in a coma, and there's, tubes coming out of everywhere in his body, and it was just brutal, absolutely brutal.
When I came around at the hospital, the guy said to me, I'm lucky I wasn't paranoid.
And in typical Aussie style, he discharged himself. They were all, you can't do this, you're gonna die, there's no way.
I'm going home with 8 broken ribs, broken neck, smashed collarbone. Every part of my body feels like I've been thrown off a building. I'm never riding a bike again, ever.
He came through it, and that is why instances like this, that my father has always seemed so invincible to me. He is the real Iron Man.
I'm just a very fortunate man to be still here talking to you about my life.
You think, oh, this family's got a curse, but yet so many great things happen. But it's always been like a 4-ring circus, our life, It's like... My blood work is completely clear of cancer, and I finished my treatment in January.
That's got, I don't know, I kind of feel weird, like, what if he had died? Like, and the camera just like, it's like, it just, maybe it was meant for them to be there so that, I mean, who's to say if the cameraman was not there and the production team was not there for the show, he could have just crashed and died right there, you know? So, you know, maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Man, this guy was a survivor. Like, a lot of some his own doing and some out of his control. But God, 9 lives of Ozzy Osbourne. Like, this is so true. This guy was a freaking survivor.
Feeling's pretty damn good to be told you.
And Sharon as well. Like, to come from having, you like, your own kid, like, as someone who had a mom who had breast cancer, like, this to see that experience up close and personal, Jesus, Jesus, and for her to deal with that, still being part of a show, still gotta be a mom, still gotta be a husband. Your husband's now in a coma. Like, man, she's a survivor. She's just as much as a survivor as well. Man, I got so much more respect for them after this.
Cancer-free.
And that's Sharon. She's unbelievable. Nothing phases her. My heart was breaking every night on stage. I put on a brave face, but when you got a broken heart because someone that you love has got sick, you can't pretend not to have a broken heart.
She's doing f***ing great, man.
I owe my life to Sharon. The thought of losing her was just absolutely unbearable. When the chemo was over, Sharon's cancer was gone.
Can you visualize yourself doing this at 50 years old, playing rock and roll?
No. I mean, I suppose I'll still be involved in some form of music or one way or other, but I don't think I'll be doing it at this pace in another 15 years.
Retiring. Off. I just turned 70.
Ozzy, happy birthday, mate. Yeah!
I'm sober today.
Love you.
And yesterday I was sober. The day before that I was sober. But I don't plan on getting drunk today, but I don't know.
I can honestly tell you, I never thought he would get sober. I just didn't realize how much more I was capable of loving him when he was sober. He is a different person, completely.
One's too many and 10's not enough. And that's so true. When you wake up and you don't like the way you feel every morning, something's got to go one way. I just didn't like me anymore.
He is known as the Prince of Darkness. But this morning, for the first time, legendary rocker Ozzy Osbourne, alongside his wife and manager Sharon, is shedding light on a private health battle and the moment he says everything changed last February.
I had a bad fall. I had to have surgery on my neck, which screwed all my nerves in. And I found out that I have...
It's Parkinson, which is a form of Parkinson's.
The initial shock is, I've got Parkinson's, but nobody knows what the it is. I didn't know anything about it apart from the name.
He's been diagnosed with full-onset Parkinson's. Why should it be a dirty little secret?
So if anybody out there gets diagnosed, don't be afraid to ask questions.
It was at a place where you can't run from it, can't hide from it. Something's wrong.
I'm not good with secrets. I cannot walk around with it anymore because it's like I'm running out of excuses, you know.
He may not be able to run up and down like he used to on stage, but it's still about the voice, and he's still a funny Nothing can take that away. Nothing.
Number one question from me was, is it a terminal illness? And the guy says, no, but life is. It's just another thing on my plate that I got to deal with. I'm not in the slightest worried about it.
There's no hiding it now. He's in a position to help a lot of people. He can become a really amazing source of inspiration for a lot of people living with this disease.
You know what? Life goes on. But right now, right here, today, I'm great. Because I ain't done yet, you know. I've got a lot left. And doing that album was the best medication I've had all along. But doing the record with Andrew Watt saved my life.
He's always had a funny walk, so it, you know? There's nothing different. No pity, no, he doesn't need pity. He just needs a stage. You know, Ozzy's always been a man of the people, which for me is just one of the things I love about him.
And my audience is better than any drugs, alcohol, sex, woman, relationship, apart from my immediate family, I mean, it's the best love affair of my life, my audience.
I think he feels an obligation to himself, and I think he feels an obligation to his fans. And that's, I think, the sign of good music, is because it hasn't skipped a generation. His music has touched every generation, you know, that's been exposed to it since it came out.
I think that the audience has a sense of, that could be me. I think he's a regular bloke. He does these wild things that seem dangerous, may actually be dangerous. And we receive that information as freedom. And the idea of being free like Ozzy is very exciting.
I don't think Ozzy is similar to anybody. To me, Ozzy's just original. So you get stripes for that in my book.
He's like the godfather of metal. The guy's no joke. He lives it. You know, he did party and all that other stuff, but I respect him as an artist, and he really gives his all for his performances and to give the fans something they want.
I'm 23 and I feel like sometimes I can't do a tour, but Ozzy's still crushing them and kicking ass to this day. I think it's pretty badass. It's incredible.
You can't be defined as this one thing when you're someone like Ozzy. He's one of the only people that, maybe other than Bowie, that I can think of, that smiles on stage.
He always has a huge smile on his face, like he's gonna burst out laughing, or he is
dope
laughing.
robe.
And that is so infectious, especially in a genre where everybody's trying to out-grimace everybody else, out-tough everybody else. And Ozzy is just at the center of it, like with this giant grin on his face the whole time. Like, when do you think he's gonna retire? I'm like, look at him up there. Look at the smile on his face. He ain't going nowhere.
Talking, I'm like, do you feel like you've done it? And he's like, no. And it kills me. He's never sat back and gone, I'm good. I did it. There's guilt and shame associated with his journey.
I think you never feel like you've made it. That's the paranoia that you always have. As soon as you kick back and you think you've made it, it's over. You always feel like you're 1 second away from being done.
Both Black Sabbath and his solo material were the playbook for heavy metal. I don't know what music would be like if it weren't for the influence of Ozzy. It's everywhere.
That's fire.
Ozzy changed everything.
His voice is his legacy. It's so instantly identifiable. You hear one note, you know that's Ozzy. Everything you want to say is right there in the music. He constantly works at trying to be a better person, at trying with his sobriety, at becoming a better father, at being a good granddad, and just constantly trying to be better. I love that about him.
I think people love my father for the same reasons I love my father. He is the most irresistible madman you will ever meet in your life.
Pearl's class are singing Crazy Train at their school play. I don't know, it's kind of cool. You know, yeah, he's done a lot of, like, weird things and he's been at times, but, like, his contribution's been far greater than any of his faults. Like, that's how he should be remembered.
But you know the time when I really saw when I can hear him nail a lid on my box. And then I'll do an encore. I'm the Prince of Darkness. This one here was the very first tattoo when I was about 14. My father kicked my ass when I got home here. And I bought some Indian ink. I did that myself. That was done in prison with a guy who was doing life killing somebody. The thing about tattoos is, a tattoo is not just for now, it's for the rest of your life. Because you know what, another thing, tattoos hurt.
Okay, that's a way to end the documentary. So, wow, this might be one of my favorite documentaries I ever watched, especially as someone who didn't have any information on Ozzy outside of just the surface level stuff. Again, I was introduced to Ozzy Osbourne through reality television, knowing him as being the crazy kooky guy on reality TV who you could hardly understand half the time, and then the stuff that you did understand, you still were confused. So to see that he really was a survivor, man, is something that I definitely have to commend. And his wife as well, Sharon, like, to have the faith in Ozzy when he got kicked out of his own band, to be like, okay, well, now it's time for you to go solo and find your second career, find your second stint of your career, then to turn around and after all he's done, to still stand by his side through all of that. Just the strength that Sharon has had, like, I can't commend enough. Like, just one of those things that he's done, like a woman would have left a long time ago. So then to come up with the Ozzy Fest or Ozzfest, to create that, then to have cancer and all that, survive that, meanwhile trying to still be the backbone of Ozzy Osbourne as an entity. But then also Ozzy himself, man, like, I knew songs. It's just because I'm not into heavy metal like that. I didn't know what I knew, but there are a lot of those songs. I'm like, oh my God, I know that. I just didn't know who it was. And it has me asking, like, so was he like the pioneer of heavy metal, or was he like one of those guys, or Black Sabbath was one of those groups that just took it to a whole nother level? Because how they phrase it is almost like they basically invented heavy metal, or at least put it on a map. So I will be very curious about that. Also, how the hell did he survive all those years? Like, there's no way he should have survived all those years. Like, he made it to, what, like 70? Well, like 70, is it 77? Because he was born in 88. Did he make it to 77? Yeah, I think he made it to 77, right? 76. This guy made it to 76. Like, through all the drugs and the being hospitalized and going to jail and, like, damn near went to jail for attempted murder. I just can't get over that. Like, that's insane. But again, it goes back to Sharon being like, I know his heart. And the fact that he was able to, for the most part, be able to rehabilitate also is, I gotta commend him for that, because a lot of people that didn't, that, you know, a lot of stories about these artists that dead at 20-something, dead at 30-something, didn't make it out of their 30s. So he definitely had 9 lives. And the fact that he really just did his own thing. Like, he really was every sense of the word a rebel. And you know I'm a rebel at heart, so I'm always going to be for any type of rebel, no matter what it is. And the fact that he did a show at the top of this month, it's almost like, you know, how he said it, like, I'm performing till I hear that nail on the coffin. Even then, I'm gonna do an encore. It's like, I'm gonna do this one last show. Who even in a chair, because there was videos on social media of Ozzy Osbourne in a chair performing, and it was like, oh my God, so cool, like one last show. And I was like, oh man, that's super dope, man. And the fact that I think like he needed that one last show before he could go on. I don't know what his faith is, I don't know any of that, but to me, it's almost like his mind and body would not allow him to go until he did that final show, and then he'll wind up passing just a few weeks later. I just think that's super, super dope, really. Like, I can imagine being someone at that concert. Like, I can only imagine what y'all going through right now. For anybody that went to that final concert, like, even though I think it was billed at his last show, I believe so, definitely because of the health issues. I think almost foregone conclusion that was gonna be his last show. Like, what y'all going through right now, like to experience that show, that last show, and then to get the news, like I can only imagine what y'all going through. But yeah, what a hell of a documentary. What a hell of a life. When you talk about live life to the fullest, he did that. Yeah, so shout out to Ozzy Osbourne, all he's done for rock and music and just being a survivor, man. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, show all the things are the things. Ain't gotta go home, dude gotta get this step in. And actually, I just need 2 things from y'all. Give me your favorite Ozzy Osbourne album, whether it's with Black Sabbath or solo, and give me your favorite Ozzy Osbourne song. I just need those 2 things. If you see this, if you make it to the end, I want to know those 2 things. But ain't got to go home. Dude got to get to stepping.